Well, hello and welcome back to the car vlog, where we do a car vlog almost daily. Generally we try to post these videos at 5 a.m. so that you can enjoy them throughout the day at work. It's designed to break up the monotony of things. We talk about a bunch of random things here. My name is Drew. I'm your careful host for this evening's or this afternoon's or whenever you choose to watch this car vlog. So without further ado, please like, subscribe, comment. We are currently at 39 subscribers, well 38. Somebody keeps unsubscribing and joining and unsubscribing and joining. Yeah, so we're at like 39, 38. Our goal for August is 50. So come on people, hit that subscribe button. You act like it cost you something. And if you really want to support a veteran directly, hit that subscribe button. I'm a veteran, you're supporting me. There you go, right? Check the box, you've supported a veteran. You subscribe to Disrupted by Design Media's channel. There you go, you can check the box on that one. All right, enough of that and leveraging the veteran card. So what are we gonna talk about? So, interesting thing is I get asked this question all the time at bars, people who know me, who know I invest. And it happened to me today on my way out, because today's, if you pay attention to the stock market, Dow is climbing, dropping, climbing, dropping, but it's still gaining. And the question is Drew, what stocks do you buy, and what do you invest in? Well, let me give you a quick tip on investing that I've used ever since I started investing, and it's always worked for me. And I'm good personal friends with a very, very popular and very, very good hedge fund manager. She's a long friend of mine, not going to give her name out, but I've taken her advice. Invest in products you use every day, things that you use regularly, right? Because if you use them every day, there's chances are there's 100 other people who also buy the products who don't invest in it. So you should invest, get it ahead of the trends. A good example of that is if you bought Apple stocks when the first iPhone came out, and you bought $700 worth of Apple stock instead of buying that iPhone at that point in time and just invested that money, you would have close to approximately $35,000 in profit right about now. Now, please, somebody fact checks that and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I just did a quick search, and if you don't understand how to search trends within a stock or identify bathtub months and the climb out of the bathtub months, you should probably go back to the basics of understanding trends within a set stock, and that's a very tricky thing. But good advice: invest in the things you use every day. What are my favorite stocks right now and why? Okay, so obviously my favorite stock is Alphabet. I'm on YouTube. I use Google all the time. I have plenty of Google stuff. I love Google's algorithm for search. I love their deep AI for proper ad placement. So why wouldn't I invest into a company like that, right? You'd have to be dumb not to. You use them regularly, right? You use them when you don't know you're using them. So why not invest into Google? Yes, it's $1,000 a share stock, but guess what? It makes money, right? And if you can't buy, don't have a whole lot of money to buy into Alphabet, you should consider buying into mutual funds that support the Alphabet. Generally, those fall into very high risk. I use one directly through USAA. That's a high risk. It's the USAA mutual fund. It costs a good chunk of change to get in, and it's worth every penny. I was able to cover my down payment for my new home with it, to give you an idea of how well mutual funds work if you're smart with them, right? And in short, mutual funds take your little money and spread it across with other people's money across major players in stock markets, in stocks that you think alike with the hedge fund, the manager of the mutual fund, essentially. And they're good. A lot of stocks use the ABC or Google essentially to buff their losses and wins up. So I do Google, I do Apple, obviously. I have an Apple computer. I've maintained the same, I think, shares I've had for several years now. And all honesty, it's just as much as I like to sell and cash out, I just kind of want to see where it's going to go at this point. I've already recovered my investment into Apple from other investments, you know, so I'm good there. So Apple's a good one, Google's a good one. I don't personally use Facebook. I left Facebook years ago for personal reasons, but on a business side, yes, I have a Facebook business account. And that's because I deal in social media. So yeah, I also invest in Facebook. And I know a lot of people whose lives are consumed by Facebook. Everybody wants to feel relative, you know. You want to feel that your life has some relative meaning to other people. So, you know, Facebook fuels that fire, which is why I like it so much, because I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I only see it getting better. Just please, Facebook, get rid of all the biased news articles, all right? We get it, you're liberal, all right? But, you know, stop with the BS, you know, articles and stuff like that. I'd be much happier with Facebook. But Facebook makes money, right? So Facebook's another key player in that mix. Now, some other soft bets and some good ones are, you know, like index stocks and stuff like that. Buying into the Dow index is good, S&Ps, those are all good, like indexing stocks, those are all fun. Bonds are good, if you do them right. I don't do them. I never understood how it worked, and I never understood the profit margins and how to collect on your profit margins, so I don't deal with that. But a good mutual fund would have to be my next suggestion. I use USAX, it's done through my bank, and it's a pretty solid earner for mutual funds. Now, some loose cannons, as I like to call them, these are stocks that I bought a shit ton of, and most of them are penny stocks. So when I sit there and I say I own like 5 million shares of a company, it's because it's a less than a penny stock at this current point. Now, for those of you who hear the term penny stock, everybody thinks these are how you get rich quick. It's not how you get rich quick. It's an easy, fun way to make some cash if you know what you're doing. Now, the next stock I'm going to say, yes, I do own shares in, and right now it is worthless, but it does have statistical spikes where its current rate right now gets moved up one whole digit, and if you don't know how to put a limit order in or leave an open sale ticket for a set price with your broker or with whatever, like E-Trade or whatever tool you use to manage your stocks. I am not going to say what tool I use to manage my stock, not because I'm waiting to be sponsored by them or cause some damage to the company. That has nothing to do with it. The reason why I don't say the company I'm using is because I'm not 100% satisfied with them. I'm about 80% satisfied with them. I've worked with other broker firms, I've worked with other self-management companies, you know, like E-Trade, Scottrade, TD Ameritrade, all those, you know, do-it-yourselfer investment plans, all of those, yeah. So I've done that, and so back to what I was saying, if you don't have that ability in your current platform, I highly suggest not buying this stock, because you will just lose money, right? You will lose money. You have to be able to do those things, and you have to set them at indefinite rates, right? Meaning, I personally switched from one system to another system simply for the fact that it offered the ability to put indefinites out, meaning I can put a sale order to run until it's filled, right? Versus, oh, you can only let it sit for 90 days or 80 days or 140 days or whatever in some of these. I've seen some where they'll only let you run an open limit order for a week, right? In their system. And that's annoying as shit, because every week I got to put a new ticket in, and this is a sleeper thing. This is where I use UVSE. So one time you're going to hear me say it. It's a penny stock, and it is utterly worthless. But I use USAV to buy approximately 5 to 10 million shares in a shot, and I sit on it until it does its spike. And I sit on it with an open limit order, right? Which means I have an order set to sell at a set price for a limited period of time, or in this case, until the order is filled, right at that price. And sometimes, and in this last time it happened, I had to wait 7 months to make $5,000, right? 7 months to make $5,000, right? In a stock market. And I had that window of opportunity only lasted about an hour, right? And there has been times, which is why I recently switched firms, there has been times where with other systems, because of the fact that you have to renew the order or re-verify that you want to do the order, it has costed me money, or I've lost out on an opportunity. I've left different things and wound up to where I'm at now because it gives me the best flexibility specifically for this stock, right? Now, I don't want you blowing up my freaking, yeah, actually I do, blow up my comments bracket and tell me how dumb of an idea it is, and tell me how bad it sucks to buy a penny stock that is utterly worth less than a penny and buy a shit ton of shares of and sit on it for 7 months and then wind up one day looking at your account and seeing zeros added to it. Tell me that's stupid, right? Tell me that's dumb. Because if you think that's dumb, then you don't understand how stocks and investments work. You invest when it's low and you sell when it's opportune, right? So that right there would have to be a good one. You know, real estate stocks like DBS Reef were really good when they were popular, because, you know, everybody's got to buy real estate. Everybody's got to have a place to live. You may not be buying it, you may be renting it, but the person you're renting from definitely probably buying the place, right? So think about it in that construct. Things you use every day. You use your house every day, right? So what stocks can you buy into companies that support everyday stuff? That's a good example of it, right? So knowing those brackets and being able to do those things and having that basic synops, I find is a very easy way to manage my investments and make money, right? Please note that when you're managing your investments, investing is like gambling, right? Don't invest anything you're not ready to lose, you know? And that's the truth. It's like gambling. Don't gamble with money you ain't ready to lose. Because when you gamble with money you ain't ready to lose, and that's when you have problems. That's when you make careless mistakes. And in investing, you deciding to sell today and right now because it's a bad time for you, because you need to hurry up and recoup your investment money because you need it to pay bills at the end of the month, that's not how you invest, right? You invest with money that is saved and earned, not borrowed or, you know, owed to somebody else, right? And you invest it in hopes to bring yourself a better future. Like my favorite quote is, somebody is sitting under the shade a tree provides because years ago somebody was smart enough to plant the seed, right? I know I totally butchered that quote, and it's a Warren Buffett quote. If you don't know who Warren Buffett is, get out from underneath a rock, and we're not talking about Jimmy Buffett, the singer, either, right? So mind yourself on that one. And if you're wondering why all of a sudden there's a weird backdrop you're not seeing that you just now started to see during my recording here, and as I hit my 15-minute mark, hopefully to be able to insert an ad at some point in here. Yeah, I kind of drew this out just to purposely break the 15-minute mark. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I need the second ad revenue in this ad, and I need to hit the 15-minute mark in order to get it. So yeah, we're gonna stall out for a little bit, and that's why the different detour was I took a longer route. Plus, I kind of wanted to really share this information, and I couldn't do it in the 10 minutes it takes me to drive home every day. So I took a little bit of a detour. But ultimately, if you're thinking about investment or investing, if your biggest helpful thing is if your company offers a 401k, buy into the damn 401k. It's free money, dude. If they match 2% of your paycheck, put 2% in, because you get 4%. That's 2% you get for free, right? they double what you put in if you max it out, right? So if you know, just to simplify this easier, if I put 2% in, and that of say my next paycheck, and it's $2, and my company does 2%, up to 2% matching, that $2 just doubled. It became $4. You just doubled your money on intake. Who doesn't want that kind of investment? That is a sound investment. Yeah, sure, you can't cash it without penalties, but you can still cash it. You can still be smart and borrow against it. Borrow against yourself. You know, it sounds interesting, right? You borrowing against yourself. You can do that with 401ks. Do I do it? Yes. Do I suggest doing it? If there's something you absolutely really want to get, or there's something you'd rather just technically buy and pay yourself back on, it's worth it, right? And 401ks are good because it's good money. Roth IRAs, those are nice because you don't need to be working to actually establish one. You can go through like Fidelity or other brokerage companies, and they will happily provide you with a structured Roth IRA that you can buy into, even if you're self-employed, or your company doesn't offer it, or you're a contractor and you don't get those kind of offerings at your job. So those are good, sound, and safe bets. These are things I do. I don't do crazy, super crazy things. Yeah, I have my one crazy penny stock that I rock out on a regular basis, and that really, all that it really is to break down my boredom when I feel like I need to play with my stocks. I don't play with them regularly. I let stocks do what they're supposed to do: sit and make money, right? And then cash out. And always set yourself a mark. And that's the best thing. If you learn how to set limit orders in, make sure your profit marks are hit, and get out. Don't ride the bubble. If you start to see a bubble, you know, and it starts to percolate, you know, bubbles pop, right? So when you start to see that percolating, that bubbles start to build up, draw a line in the sand, take your wins, and walk away. Because if you hang on to it too long, you will be stuck with the bubble busting. It happens to everybody when you invest. It is like poker. You're going to catch a bad beat. You're going to catch a bad bubble. You're going to hold on to your investment a little too long, and that bubble's going to pop, and you're going to wind up losing your investment. So yeah, be sound with your investments. Keep it simple. Stick to things you use regularly. If you find an item that you use every day, chances are it's got a stock market attached to it. There's a stock or an investment opportunity attached to it because you use it every day. You know, when I was younger and I first started playing with investments, I invested into companies that produce third-party paraphernalia for gaming companies, and Mad Catz was perfect. I bought it, I think, at like 60 cents a share and sold it at like 20 something a share at one point. So it was huge. And these are smart little buys, and it was bought under what I was taught: buy things you use every day. And I was staring at a controller and I was using it every day, and it worked out. So yeah, just try that for simple thoughts. Let me know how it works for you. Once again, I only mentioned 2 stock tickers for examples. Please don't think I'm using this to draw people to buy those stocks. I honestly would prefer that you didn't buy UVSE and you didn't mess with the USAX mutual fund. But if you happen to decide you want to do those ventures, realize that is at your own risk. I take no responsibility for it. It is only advice, and if you lose, I lose, because I buy the same stocks, right? And I told you where I set my limits to. I would suggest doing the same. Once you purchase the stock, you can immediately set a limit order to it. I wait for it to triple down. And it does it statistically once a year, just never at the same point in time in the year, but it does do it once a year. You just have to be able to catch on to the trend. And if you do a little homework on your own, you'll figure out the magic recipe. And yeah, so good luck in investing. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Yeah, it's now at the 20-minute mark, so I got the second revenue point. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.